Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to this week's episode of The Critically Casual. I'm your host, Three Cups, and joining me as always is DorkyDev. Say hi, Dev.
What's up, trainers?
That's awesome. How are you doing tonight,
Oh my
Dev?
god, that was a good choice.
Thank you. I like that song. That's a really nice song. Really quite lovely.
Pumped.
Right? Now I'm ready to like battle or, kind of...
Dude, I cannot wait for Sword and Shield so much, man.
Is it only on Switch?
It's gonna be on Switch.
Damn it, I don't have a Switch. Someone go fund me a Switch.
I know someone who's selling one for like 200.
Yeah, it's out of my
130.
price range. I'm debating, literally all I need left, because my dad bought me new lights. That's why, if people are wondering why I look nice, it's because I'm using them right now, and I feel nice. It looks nice, yeah.
Good lighting system.
Yeah.
Always helps.
Yeah, exactly. So, now I'm just I'm a few pieces of equipment away from being able to start my own, portrait photography. But it's $300, and do I want to spend $300 on this shit right now? Can I afford $300 on this stuff right now? I don't know. But either way, I'm excited for this week, because this week is, if you couldn't tell based on the opening music and the sound effect that Dev couldn't hear that I added in, which was a Pokeball opening up when I switched us over.
Good choice.
Yeah, right. I thought about this stuff. This week it's Pokemon with I call this week Gotta Catch 'Em All, or Watch 'Em All. My apologies. Gotta watch 'em all.
Glad we didn't, because there's 18 other Pokemon films.
God no, yeah, that'd been.
They're all okay. Actually, I'm more impressed now with Marvel than ever because they have more films than Pokemon does, and Pokemon's been doing this since 1998.
Right? Oh God. So real real fast. When I went to watch Detective Pikachu in theaters, I was walking out of the theater and I was listening to a parent talking to her children. And her children were describing something. It's like, yeah, it was this thing where you kept it in your pocket. And it had a whole bunch of little buttons, and you'd have to feed it like 3 times a day, and you'd have to play with it a little bit. And I was like, "Are you talking?" And internally, I was like, "She's talking about Tamagotchi." She never said it, but she's like, "Yeah, I think she's talking about Tamagotchi." And the kids were like, "Do they still make it? Can I get one?" And she's like, "I don't think they make it anymore. It was back in the '90s." It's like, "Girl, they've been making this since '96. What you talking about back in the '90s?"
I mean, technically, she's right.
I know. But like, if the excuse of it coming out in the '90s is why it's not able to be bought right now, I don't think that's a good excuse.
Well, I don't think they produce them anymore.
Was it because they were made in the '90s, or is it because they weren't as good as people thought they were?
Hey, they were great entertainment for kids during that time.
You know what? Shut up and battle my Bulbasaur.
I win this fight because I got a fucking Lickitung, man.
God.
Which I love how good the quality comes through when I shine it like that. That picture looks too good.
I can't. It won't focus on the picture. Nice. It does look good. Okay, but enough of this random bullshit that we keep talking about. Let's talk about our first movie today, which is a mouthful of a title. Yes. Go for it.
Pokemon, the first movie, Mewtwo Strikes Back.
Right?
God damn, I love that title.
That's one mouthful of a title.
It is.
So, Dev, this movie does one thing that I like and one thing that I don't like simultaneously, which they both address and don't address in Detective Pikachu. It's like, this movie is good. It's very nice. It still has like the same nostalgic emotions. But when I looked back and watched it, I was like, oh, God, what the hell is some of this? Oh, God. And, and part of me was like, I imagine watching this in theaters for the first time with my kids and being like, what the hell's Pokemans? And they don't explain it at all in this movie.
I will say Pokemon Forever, which is the only other one I've ever owned. I've watched a lot of the other ones. Well, not anymore, actually. I watched the original 4 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
My friends, like, we had different ones of us had different ones of them. Like, someone had the first movie in 3, someone had 2000, I had Forever, and I had Digimon the movie.
Came out in '97. Oh man,
I had that going for me, so that was fun. But the Pokemon Forever does a job of literally explaining Pokemon in the beginning, like. They talk about Ash's origins and how Brock and Misty got there and what being a Pokemon trainer is.
Yeah.
This one doesn't do that because, like, the other thing it does is, at this point, when did Gen 2 start?
Gen 2 had started by this time, I think, because
there's a Donphay in it.
Mm-hmm.
And Togepi, because Togepi shows up in the show.
Yeah.
But you don't know Togepi's a Gen 2 if you just watch the show. You don't know what Gen 2 is yet.
No, yeah.
And suddenly there's a Donphay that shows up in this movie. You're gonna be thrown off.
Yeah, I was definitely a little bit thrown off at first. Because it's like, wait, wasn't this a first-gen movie? No, it's a second-gen movie after they decided, you know what? We've made enough money off of this by itself. We need to reel in a little bit of that Poke movie money.
I mean, the next one's in pretty much... the next one has Gen 2 Pokemon with Gen 1 Pokemon, and then the one after that, kind of the same deal, and the one after that's kind of the same deal. It's like the next one's about Lugia and stuff, but like these movies don't. This one especially, it doesn't explain shit. It's just it's as Screen Rant puts it, it's an extended Pokemon episode.
It really is. It's just you're watching it. It's like same old narrator. It's got some random battles in it for no reason. Then it's got Ash being dumb. Same old traditional Pokemon episode. Which was nostalgic, I'll be honest. It was very much like, man, I miss old Pokemon. I like that voice. I like this stuff. This was cool Pokemon. And then... But yeah, other than it being nostalgic, it's not really that good.
It's definitely not the best Pokemon movie.
No. Especially like, don't get me wrong, it's a great start for Pokemon for movies, and it has one tie-in to the next film that we're going to talk about, at least one. So
Yeah, which raises a question I want to ask you when we get there. But I mean, it's an extended Pokemon episode. Is essentially what it is. It's not bad, especially given that some of the Pokemon episodes aren't great. And essentially, you're doing a 30-minute episode over an entire hour. The hell are you doing? Oh, wait, can they not hear that?
the
Oh,
stream couldn't hear any of that. They don't know what you're talking about.
well, I'm just going insane.
Yes, yes, you are.
No, it's not a bad film, and it still will always have a nostalgic part. And that first battle that happens, and the theme starts up, and you hear the huge guitar riff, the dun, 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 dun. I wanna be the very best.
Yeah, I like the
First, man,
remix of it.
You can't not sing along.
Oh yeah, no, it's just nostalgia fodder. It really is. It's just like we grew up with this stuff, and it's like, oh my god, it's so good. It gives me chills. Like, I can't not cry when we get to the sad moments in this movie, because no, but even though I know they're coming, it's like, oh my gosh, the sad moment.
I'll admit, I kind of laugh nowadays at the sad moment because it's just really like, all right, we're here.
Let Ash be dumb again, like always.
Kinda.
He's gonna be forever dumb.
Yeah, forever dumb.
It's just You know what's the best idea? I have a Charizard and you have a Charizard, so let's fight them against each other. Never mind the fact, like, just, you know what? Let's just forget types exist and battle exactly the same.
I have one major problem with this film during that first battle.
What's
I love the first battle because the theme's playing. But Pikachu cannot take out a fucking golem.
No, yeah, absolutely. I thought that too.
It's a consistent problem where Pikachu takes out ground types. Stop.
No,
stop.
What
are you doing?
You're sitting there. I was sitting there watching the movie, and they're like, "Wow." Misty's like, "Wow, that was a shocking ending." I'm like, "Is it because it's shocking that Gollum was defeated in battle?"
Brock's over here like, man, he took on my Onix the same way. I don't get it.
That's why Team Rocket is hunting this Pikachu. It's special, man.
And yet it still loses fights.
It's weak against whatever electric type Pokemon are strong against.
It's weak against plots.
Yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right. It is weak against plot.
But other than that, like, it's just an extended episode, and if you enjoy the show, you enjoy this. That's the best way to put it. Like, it's got a good message too, because like Pokemon fighting isn't about them fighting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're doing it in the correct way, it's about, you grow with these Pokemon, you challenge each other, you do things together. It's the story of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And during the fight, when they don't have their powers, it's like, wow, this is just wrong.
It's just them beating each other up, and I'm glad that it, like, I'm pretty sure it's fairly censored from, like, the original, because I wonder what the music was, other than that whatever hokey, like what did you listen to?
That's the original song.
I know, but, like, I feel like the Japanese version had a much better song choice there, would be my guess. And...
Probably.
Oh, kitty, come back.
You can blame it all on him.
Exactly.
I'm just afraid she's gonna
Yeah, this is Chloe.
walk over all your keys.
No,
Right.
she's smart. She doesn't do that.
All right, fair. But no, like, it's cool. You get to see Mew. You get to see Mewtwo. You get your. I'm sad that we don't get full Ash roster because everyone else that shows up has their full 6 Pokemon.
Yeah, but Ash only has the 3.
Brock and Misty don't pull out their Pokemon. Like, Misty just let Psyduck out, even though we see that she has Star U with her. She could have brought out Star Me Horsey as well.
But if she did, they would have been captured.
Yeah, and then they could battle too.
Yeah,
Fine.
then they would have fought the stupid fight that didn't need to happen.
So-
Spoilers.
I would have liked to see Onix there. Onix is one of my favorite first gens because he evolves into one of my favorite second gens.
They
as well.
already had a giant thing fighting another giant thing.
Don't care. Have another giant snake-like creature fight another giant snake-like creature. It's cool. All right.
They probably originally did, and they're like, you know what? That just looks too similar of a fight, so we're gonna cut one of them.
Or have Geodude could have been interesting. It's just two fists on a rock, man.
Just Geodude, 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 Geodude.
Dude.
It would have just been another Pikachu fight, you know?
No, because Pikachu's fight has relevance, because Pikachu won't fight.
And the other Pikachu cries about it. It's like, why are you just letting me beat you up?
But, all said and done, it's still not the best film that Pokemon has ever made.
No, not at all. Like, if I were to give... I don't know. Like, this movie, it's good. It'll definitely get you on the nostalgia parts of your body. But, like... Otherwise, I wouldn't really say much. Like, if you've never seen this movie, I'd recommend it if you're a Pokemon fan. If you're not a Pokemon fan and you've never seen this movie, don't watch this movie. You're fine. So, like...
That's a good way of putting it. It's for the Pokemon fans.
At this point. When it first came out, it was also for the Pokemon fans, but it wasn't as aged as it is now.
Yeah, there's some things that do show its age.
Like, the
Not in the worst
creepiest
way.
thing of it all is still freaking Brock. Like, ooh, you're a woman, I think you're pretty. Ooh, you're a woman, I think you're pretty. Ooh, you're a woman, I think you're pretty.
He's the Mineta, all right.
Sure.
It's a strange Japanese stereotype in shows. There's always the dude who, because Pokemon's an anime.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a Brock-esque character in a lot of them.
It's just girls, man.
Even My Hero Academia, which at times breaks, the norm, still has moments where the norm happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just certain. I don't want to call it a stereotype. It's a character type. I don't know a technical term for it.
I'd still technically call it like it's a stereo character type. Why not? Because it's a little bit of both. Like,
and I mean, it's not just in anime, but it's prevalent in anime.
Prevalent?
Prevalent. Thank you.
Prevalent. I like that.
But it's Brock is Brock. It's even though it's supposed to be like a hopeless romantic character, but he's sometimes just creepy about it.
Yeah, just like, man, that woman there, I will gladly help her because she's a woman, and that's it.
He also, especially in the show, this movie doesn't show up, but Brock is actually one of the best characters as well.
Yeah, he's very smart, he's very knowledgeable, he's super friendly and helpful, but he's just creepy when it comes to women that aren't Misty.
Or female protagonists of the season.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just what happens. I don't know. It's something that's always kind of been that way. It doesn't excuse it, but it's just how it's been for Pokemon, so...
So, Dev, if you had a handful of popcorn kernels, like, say about 10 popcorns, how many would you give this Pokemon movie?
I'd still probably give it a 6. Maybe a 6.5.
6.5? Okay. I'd say that's a little
personally,
generous.
nostalgia hits me huge, especially for the first 3 gens, so, might be cheating, but,
No, you have a right to do that. I guess that's fine. I myself would, however, give this a probably about a 4. Like, nostalgia still gets me a little bit, so like it's getting a 4, not lower.
Fair.
Because it's ultimately fine. It's cute. It's fun. It has its moments, I guess. It's just
God, that's a gap to figure out. 4 to 6.5.
that's somewhere around a 5.75, I think. So
6?
yeah.
Is that right? 1. No, it's going to be a 5.5.
Sure. Let's give it that. Overall, 5.5.
Yeah.
One of our most divisive episodes. Or movies so far.
Who'd have thought it? Pokemon, the first movie.
And we're not even arguing about it.
You're not wrong.
Okay, next film. The one we're all really here for.
Yes!
The one that brings all of our childhoods to actual life, you know?
My god! So, I have to freak out about one thing, okay?
Hit me.
Okay, so, there wasn't a single Totodile in any of the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what shows up? Even if it's just for a still picture.
There's a Totodile.
I sat there and went,
He's there!
he's adorable, man! And like you saw them all like in the picture. It's Bill Nye, his character traveled around the world to find cures and stuff like that for illnesses through Pokemon. So, and one of them is a still image of a bunch of Totodiles around him as he's standing next to a small little stream.
Mm-hmm.
And like all the Totodiles are doing cute ass fucking poses. One's doing the typical Totodile pose, and I'm just like, I wanted more of them, man. They were adorable. But I also got a ton of Trico, which was great too.
Yeah, Trico is pretty good. They're especially the close-up when he's sleeping. Like,
this movie!
One of my favorite lines, it's a real throwaway line in this film, and it's like, oh, I work for the CNM, the Clifford News Media, or whatever it was called. And she's like, yeah, I do top 10 listicles of the cutest Pokemon. It's like, really? It's like, yeah, I know it's pointless because all the Pokemon are cute.
Not wrong. But, like, I would like to see a list of Pokemon that evolved from cute to badass. Top 10.
Top 10 most badass from cutest evolutions?
Yeah. Which, again, Totodile to Feraligatr. Fight me on that.
I don't know. Sorry, I have cat hair on my mic cover, and I'm trying to get that off.
Fair. But, dude, like, it's what we wanted for years. This film. Like, how it looks.
I would have yes and no. There are definitely there's one Pokemon which sucks because it's a very key Pokemon in this movie that feels very out of it to me. Like, there are even moments when this Pokemon moves and walks around that it's like, oh, that doesn't look right. It just looks bad.
You can say which one.
Mewtwo.
Okay, I figured, because he's in the trailer, so it's not a huge spoiler.
Yeah. But, like, whenever Mewtwo's on frame and, like, actually just kind of just moving, I'm like, you don't look right. And don't get me wrong, the actor in this film, who, for some reason, I don't have IMDb up for this, so I'm going to do that real fast.
Are you talking about the one who plays the guy in the wheelchair? Or
no,
one
Tim.
who voices Mewtwo?
Tim.
Oh, Tim. Justice Smith. Which, by the way, Justice Smith knocks it out of the park in this film.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he really portrays like he's talking to creatures that are actually there, even though we all know that they're not. It's really, really good, his portrayal of these stuff. But, like...
Yeah, I mean, and people, gave him a lot of crap for Jurassic World.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he was bad in Jurassic World. I just felt like his character was kind of useless in Jurassic World.
Yeah, it was very much the, I'll do whatever you tell me to survive.
It wasn't his fault necessarily. It was more writing fault, in my opinion. And this movie kind of proves that, because, like, he aces this film.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I genuinely can buy that he's talking to things that are right next to him, even though we know they're not. But at the same time, just sometimes the animations look bad enough to me where I'm like, I could tell there's not something actually there. But most of the time, it's good. It really genuinely is.
And I would say it would be tough to ace this entire film due to the fact that, there's a lot of Pokemon on screen.
Yes.
Like, at any given moment, you could see probably, like, maybe 30 in some frames.
Yeah, so that actually leads to one of my big problems that I initially had with this movie. Like when I was watching this movie, and afterwards I thought about it. I was like, I was really interested with the first like 20 minutes of this film because it's with Tim as he's going to Rhyme City for the first time. And like when we get to see it in theaters, it's Pokemon City Tim, and then the next frame is Pokemon City Tim, and it's like the camera is always moving, and it's always just like it's never just steady in one moment in time. And to me, it felt really disorienting. I was like, why do we just keep going and moving and stuff? Why can't we just sit and focus on this? And later, I thought about it. I was like, it makes sense. He's really disoriented, and the cinematography is trying to capture that feeling.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
Yeah, that's very much what was going on in that moment, but I didn't like the execution of it, and part of it felt like the way they executed it, it was just to show off that it's like, yeah, look at all these freaking Pokemon we have here.
And I'll say, as the casual, I loved it. Because that's how I feel like I would react to walking into Rhyme City. Be me in a fucking Totodile, walking around being like, holy crap.
You have to earn the Totodile's respect, Dev.
Well, if you're visiting from a different place where you catch the Totodile, and then I would still earn that Totodile's respect by trading it and being its friend.
You still have to earn it, man. I don't think you'd be... You saw Tim in the Cubo, and I think that'd be you in a Totodile.
Bullshit! Fuck you. I would start in Johto and get a Totodile from Professor, which one's there? That's...
Birch?
Elm.
Elm?
Birch is third.
Okay.
Elm is second. There's a lot of tree professors. But no, I felt like Rhyme City makes sense in the world of Pokemon, a city where it isn't like the rest of the regions.
Mm-hmm.
It would make sense. Like, a city where Pokemon and humans kind of just coexist, if that's what you want to do. Like,
yeah. And, like, just when they first started portraying it, it was really disorienting. But then later on in the film, when Tim started to, like, really get his bearings, the cinematography shifted towards being more steady and focusing on him and what he's looking at and what's going on. And it really worked out better. And that's what, like, it took a while. But, like, this film is fine. It really is. It's not really emotionally deep, and it doesn't really draw too much into, like, at least the parts of the Pokemon that I like. Like, because I only really stayed for the first 3 gens, and it never really referenced the first 3 Pokemon seasons. It's just like Pokemon creatures, and then...
Well, and that's the thing. It's the Pokemon world. The world's, like, it's a different point in the Pokemon world. I'm curious to see where Rhyme City is based off of as well. Because... You know, we have Johto and Kanto are based off of 2 Japanese regions. Same with Hoenn.
I was about to say every Pokemon thing is based off of a country,
or a region in said country. Like Unova is Paris, I think. Unova is Paris. Sinnoh is New York, right?
If I remember,
or
I don't remember.
Or Sinnoh.
Somebody who knows this stuff, look it up on the internet for us.
X and Y is Paris.
Yeah, it's upside down, though, I think. No, the most recent Pokemon, Pikachu and Eevee, is like all of Italy, but flipped.
Pikachu and Eevee's Kanto.
Fuck, what other Pokemon was it before then? Either way, I don't care. We're off topic, Dev.
Well, I'm trying to say is that, like, there's different regions, and it's a different realm, so the stuff that happened in those other gens doesn't really affect things here, or those other stories. They minorly affected because Mewtwo's here. But
yeah, that's the only thing that references like the original series is Mewtwo, and they reference that he was released in the Kanto region, which is the first Pokemon series.
But other than that, like you don't need it to connect everything either because it's its own story, and it does a good job of making sure it's its own story.
Mm-hmm. I just want, like, I guess I had a certain expectation of references and callbacks that didn't happen, especially because I wanted, with Ryan Reynolds, it's just kind of what he's known for. So,
I will say Ryan Reynolds killed it too, because, like, the jokes he makes as Pikachu are fucking amazing.
Oh, yeah. Ryan Reynolds' voice capture in this film, absolutely astounding. I loved it. When he becomes Ryan Reynolds again, you know. Like,
that's a spoiler.
We don't know that. Like, his voice capture was great, absolutely. But, yeah. It
I enjoyed it.
was fun. It was a very lovely film. But like it's very. I kind of agree with the person that Chasing tweeted at us. Like I didn't read the tweet at first, but then I went back to it and it's like it seems very much like a teen movie, and it is a teen movie. It's growing up. It's a traumatic teen movie. It's a coming of age story, you know. But they happen with every film. But
But it's a coming of age story in Pokemon, so I love it. Shut up.
so so is this so much? Did words hard? Did you really like? Out of all the films that we've watched recently, was this one like really really good for you this month?
Honestly, well, for the I mean, last week what do we have? Last week was Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no duh. I did not enjoy the Hunger Games. For this year though, I really enjoyed it. Like,
so Endgame level or?
I mean, nothing's gonna be Endgame level. Let's be honest. Endgame is its own level of tier of film.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Sure.
It's, but because it's a once in a lifetime unique Pokemon experience, unique movie experience. Sorry, we're talking about Pokemon, so my brain is very much on topic right now, in a way. But this is also a once in a lifetime Pokemon experience. Is the best way to put it.
Unless they do what Screen Rant is saying, because I read an article earlier that they're saying that they want to start a cinematic universe of Pokemon.
I'm down. Let's go.
Sure, I guess. Fine.
Let's visit other regions. Actually have like cool, real Pokemon battles. These Pokemon looked so cool. Like Gengar, when Gengar showed up, that was so cool. That was such a cool looking Pokemon. Like, yeah. I'd love to see like Steelix. Could you imagine seeing a Steelix in that? Like you know, someone throws a Pokeball, Steelix comes out, and it just this nice shine strings across him until it goes up to his head, and just that little
sparkle, and it's raw. Yeah.
Dude, I would lose my shit. Like,
see, like, I would definitely agree with something like that would be cooler. Like, I love the deep bassy sounds, especially in theaters. So, like, if we get
like the Charizard and the Gyarados, dude, that was some cool shit.
I thought fucking Gyarados moment was hilarious.
It was awesome.
Tim, I can't swim.
I don't flow. This movie is so cool. Like, there's a lot of Pokemon I didn't expect to see in it too. Like Slackings. There's a ton. I mean, like just in background alone, you see Togepi being carried by someone. You see just Loudons. The Loudons were so fucking cool.
Yeah, that gave me a good chuckle. Yeah, they were techno trap music, man.
Oh my god, dude!
That's
it was
the
great.
best way to use a Loudrons, or whatever they're called. Like,
Loudrons were so good. They were one of my favorite parts, man. Like, I didn't expect it.
So, like, you wouldn't say you were upset at all by how kind of predictable this film was?
No, honestly.
Really?
I was okay with it. Like,
okay.
I know that sounds silly, but like
I'm a little upset with how predictable it really was overall.
I knew you would be.
Yeah. Especially.
But I feel like they did some creative things with some of the Pokemon as well.
Oh, some of them absolutely. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a whole scene in there that's very like Inception-y, which I'm sure people know what I'm talking about if they've seen the trailer. But
yes.
Like, you know how
but
needed.
You don't know what it's about if you've only seen the trailer. If you see the movie, you understand what's actually going on there.
Yeah, but then when you see the movie, you're like, is that really needed? It's cool, but other than being cool, is it plot relevant? No.
No, but it's cool.
There's a lot of stuff in
for
this.
me, I know you, and as the critic, I understand your gripes with that, but as the casual, sometimes cool outweighs its needed,
there's the rule of cool. It's absolutely a thing.
And for me, at least, that outweighed the rule. That landed the rule of cool. This is really fucking awesome. Like,
Oh Jesus! This film definitely had really cool moments in it,
Oh God, yeah.
but it's nostalgia, coolness, and niceness, but cuteness and kind of
Freshness
predictability, but
and
fresh at the
new.
same time. Like it was still predictable though. Like it's cute and cool, but still kind of the same stories that are told over and over again. But it's still unique in its own ways.
Lady Kono!
Yeah,
I don't know. But I'm a sucker for Pokemon, you know?
absolutely. Why wouldn't you be a sucker for Pokemon?
It was good. And I would love to see more Pokemon battles. Like, legit Pokemon battles would be so cool to see in this kind of environment.
Not the ones that we got to see in the film.
Well, in this kind of environment, I mean by like this kind of like movie style.
Okay.
Like as a full-on cinematic Pokemon battle would be amazing.
So, like, what Pokemon story would you want them to adapt to the big screen? I know they've done Detective Pikachu now, and it's kind of opened up the world to remaking some of the old movies. But like what events would you want to redo? Would you want to do the unknown?
Well,
And
I don't know if I'd want to redo any of them, but maybe tell a new story with Pokemon. Because like some of them do that, like with some of the side movies and stories go over different Pokemon trainers stories. You could do that, you know. You could tell a new generation, a new trainer. You know, Ash is sells a lot of tickets.
oh
To be
yeah.
honest. Ash and Pikachu, they're merchandise.
I mean, but I don't mean like what story would you tell exactly, but like they took the Detective Pikachu story and based it off of like the Mewtwo story, and like
Sort of. It's a continuation of it because like, I feel like we need to get into spoiler section if we're gonna get into this.
okay, all right, sure, fine, sure.
So I'm gonna give you your popcorns and you say how much you give it.
Um,
You got 10.
I get 10 popcorns.
You get 10 popcorns.
Okay. If I had to give this a rating out of 10 popcorn kernels, it would probably be a 6.5, almost a 7, for sure. It was cute, it was fun, it was cool, but at times it was
Well, I
off-putting.
was gonna give it a 7.5, so it's gonna land perfectly 7.
Okay. So there you go. Doesn't matter either way what we give it. Hang on one second. Family just got home, and I should stop talking so loudly. So I'm gonna close
Fair
the door
enough.
completely.
Fair enough. No, I would suggest you see this film in theaters. It's a really cool experience. Go check it out. Like, it's an awesome experience. Enjoy. Go enjoy it. Because you will enjoy it. And you will enjoy watching this film if you love Pokemon.
Oh, absolutely. So, with that in mind, Dev, can you hit the button for me?
Let's get ready to spoiler!
Sure. There we go. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. So yes, spoilers for Pokemon, and I guess we'll start with my conversation. This is a continuation of the Mewtwo story, of course.
Yeah, it's a continuation from Mewtwo Returns. Is if I remember correctly, that's the one that is the name of it. Yeah, Pokemon Mewtwo Returns. Which is a story of, you know, Mewtwo took all the clone Pokemon, took them to another island, kept them there, kept them safe, protected. Giovanni finds him. All this shit happens. This is 20 years later in the Pokemon world. They said that Mewtwo escaped 20 years ago.
Oh, in Detective Pikachu.
Yes.
Yes. I thought you were talking about Mewtwo Returns was like
Oh, no. Sorry.
20 years ago. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
sorry, should have said that better. But this takes place 20 years later, which it's been 20 years since the first Pokemon movie. Cool, makes sense.
Timeline's irrelevant.
And it works. And they do. It would make sense 20 years from then that a city called the city of Rhyme City would exist, especially.
Mm-hmm.
And two, one, I want some of that Pokemon merch, bro. Like that shirt, that unknown shirt he was wearing, I'd rock the shit out of that.
There's some pretty good stuff in this movie, man.
Well, I mean, like one of them, like if you open up your pack, you get these little things that show you the merch.
Yeah.
I want the Knocked Out stuff, bro. Because Knocked Out's one of my favorite Pokemon.
You have some
can't
weird
tell,
favorite Pokemon.
I'm a huge fan of Second Gen. Second Gen's my favorite, like, Pokemon styles and looks.
Okay.
And evolutions. Not to say that the other gens, like, all the other gens have greatness in them. They all have stupid shit in them, too. Not gonna lie. People who say, after first gen, they all look stupid. You're an idiot. Some of the first gen Pokemon are really fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's talk about Muck. Or Ekans, or Seviper. No, wait, that's the third gen.
That's third gen. Hey, good job. But, like, this movie, like, it makes you want to be in that world. And it's Mewtwo, and for Mewtwo, I feel like he moves how he would move, though.
God, I hope so, because like when he walks and when he's floating and waving his arms around, it's a little bit better. But like especially when he walks, it's just like
Normally he wouldn't walk, but then he starts walking because he's got what's his face is, because by the way, since we're in the spoiler territory, Bill Nye
Howard. No, the
Howard Clifford.
Oh, Howard Clifford, that's right.
Is the bad guy.
Which kind of, when you really think about it, very understandable to me. Like, literally when he's, like, thinking about giving up, he's summoned to Howard Clifford, and he's like, hey, I need you to find your father, because if you find Mewtwo, you'll find your father. And it's like, he was going to give up, and then suddenly he was summoned to the most powerful guy in the city. I feel like there's ulterior motives going on here. And it's not just because his son is evil, because he still has the power, because he is the Howard Clifford. Doesn't matter if his son can leave his room. Like,
I did like the message of family in this, though. It does work.
Yes, I both liked the conversation with him coming to realize he'd never get to say like goodbye to his dad. He's like, and he was very emotional about that. And then later on in the film, when we kind of get to see the opposite side, when he was like, when Roger was talking to Tim when Howard was being arrested, and Roger was like, you know what, I was there for my dad, but I feel like I wasn't really there for him. I feel like I let him down. All right, let's move on with our lives. And it's like you get to see two sides of the coin, just the ones who aren't with the parents but want to be with them more, and the people who are with the parents that haven't really been with them.
This story is about, family is what you've got. You know what I mean? Like, and I will say, if family for you, it has toxic parts to it, like, then either that needs to be worked out or you need to move forward.
Oh yeah.
People who say, just because they're your mom and they're toxic, or their dad and they're toxic, you can make it work. Not always. That's not always the case. That's not what I got from this movie. But if this movie more goes like, because essentially, Tim's dad, Detective Goodman, is really distant after his wife, Tim's mother, passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And he got drawn into his work.
I feel like that would have been better if Tim's mother didn't pass away from sickness. Rather, she passed away from like a crime, and because he's a police officer, he took that to heart. And
I'll counter that with that is a way people deal with those things. Like people lose themselves in their work after they lose someone that they've cared so much about.
Mm-hmm.
And it would make sense for him to literally just drown in his work, essentially.
Yeah, I get distracted. But then he was still like, I care for my son, man.
I mean, that's fair. Like, when he was 11, he wanted his son to move into Rhyme City with him, but he didn't. And I liked him fighting the letter, because it's been about 10 years since he's seen his dad.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's got a 21-year-old Pikachu letter. And, it's heartwarming because you know that this dad does care, but he doesn't know how to show it yet. and where the movie ends, I'd like to see them have at least a cameo in any other future live-action Pokemon movies.
Okay, yeah.
Because just to see that bond continue. I will say, Catherine Newton's character, Lucy Stevens, and Tim Goodman's character, and the character Tim Goodman, their romanticness, their chemistry felt legit.
It did, but however, it was one of those we worked together, so let's kind of fall in love.
Yes,
romances.
I'm not going to counter that. I'm happy that the chemistry felt like real though between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of those things that if you're going to do that kind of a love story, you have to make sure that the chemistry doesn't feel bad.
Do you feel like her acting and her portrayal actually fit in this film? Because like parts of it, she was very much the exact opposite of motions of Tim. Like, and this movie was filmed in a way for, like, we'd be sympathetic to Tim. And then all of a sudden we have this, oh, hey, I'm this person, I do these puppy things. Ha, 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 let's go. Like, kind of personality.
She's supposed to have the go-getter personality. She's supposed to be the one to go and just... She charges into the scenario and tries... She's trying to also help her job. She wants to get out of the... She has a monotonous, mind-numbing job.
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, but writing top 10 Pokemon, cute Pokemon lists sounds awful in the world of Pokemon. Because...
I mean, when you're not allowed to write articles about what battles are doing what, where, you have to write something else, right?
Well, and also the fact that, like, there's stories that she's following that the company isn't. Like, she was following leads and doing what a reporter does. Even if she's just an intern, she's going into investigative journalism.
Mm-hmm.
I see her character doing that, is how I put it. Like, and it didn't feel off because, like, the way they established her character felt like that she's the, I'm going into this and I'm just doing it kind of thing. Mind you, some of the cutesy moments, like when they accidentally butt heads kind of thing, like literally they accidentally bump their heads together, because
they're being awkward about meeting in public, like they do in spy movies.
Yes. I felt it was funny, but it wasn't needed.
Mm-hmm.
But still, her character felt natural for her role, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can trust that, I guess. Yeah, because I've read complaints recently that people felt that she didn't really fit in the film because her mood was completely different than everything else's, which kind of understandable based on what she has to do for a living, but.
Well, she's driven to figure out what is actually happening.
Yeah, she's a go-getter, man.
Yeah, she's supposed to be that, like, she's supposed to, like, essentially be the lighting the fire for Tim to, go get as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it works well enough.
My allergies are fucking with me. Oh.
Dude, I had to take some medication this morning.
Whew.
It's not mine.
My eyes are like watering and itching, and it's like, god damn.
You have allergy medication?
Somewhere, but it's not like fast acting. By the time the show's over, it might start kicking in.
Fair. I have a question for you.
Okay.
We discussed it a little bit, but how do you feel about Ditto?
Ditto. I thought it was interesting, but I also didn't really think it was like much of a big twist. Because like I said, it's always one thing that you notice in the background that's a minor detail that becomes important later.
True. And it was one of those things for me that it happens. Like in the movie, when Howard Clifford leaves one of the little videos that they produced, his Ditto turns into a person that helps push him around. Mm-hmm. And it's a away moment.
Yeah, it's like not even focused. You just see Howard going away.
And the thing is, if you know Pokemon, you see Ditto do that, you're like, okay, that's normal.
Yeah, you think about it, it's like, yeah, that's not out of the ordinary.
No, it's not. It's a Ditto. You're like, oh, cool, Ditto, and it just did that. Oh.
Yeah, you would think, like, if they turn into Pokemon, why can't they turn into people? Makes sense to me.
But the character that ends up actually being Ditto throughout the film, without me realizing it, because there's two of them,
mm-hmm.
I was like, oh. Man, I missed that. And it should have been really obvious because one of the characters literally has pink gloves.
Yeah, they had like pink gloves and pink accented hair, and you never get to see their eyes, and that's a very common trope with Dittos is their eyes don't change. But that's only if they're not a very talented Ditto. But apparently this Ditto's talented enough to change into people, but not whatever.
Well, it's a genetically modified Ditto.
Yeah.
Something that he does that
it's something that he made.
Say.
Yeah, it was something that he made to be able to turn into people and stuff. But still, it has the bad eyes. Like, I guess that's a reference to earlier seasons.
More for us.
Yeah.
That's a reference for hardcore Pokemon fans like, haha, Ditto. Because one of the main Dittos from the franchise, like, there's a Ditto trainer in the Pokemon franchise who catches Dittos who don't transform perfectly. Like, she has one that transforms into Pokemon really small. She has one that changes into one with weird faces, like in this.
And that's the one that's the main story. It's like, we'll teach you how to transform properly in this, and then eventually at the end of the episode it transforms perfectly fine.
But then she's like, but it doesn't. She doesn't want it to anymore. She wants it to be itself. And changing to Pokemon that look weird, that's itself. And then she finds one Ditto that transforms into small Pokemon. That's itself. She loves them. She loves them for being unique Dittos. And it's an adorable series, like a couple episodes in different generations of the show. And, you know, it was a good callback. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fight when the Ditto turns into Lucy.
Oh, yeah. You don't think I'm going to beat the poorly made-up version of the woman I'm mildly attracted to? Then you're sadly mistaken.
And then he gets his ass handed to him.
Yeah.
And then it turns into a fucking Machamp, which, man, fuck that.
Dude, it flies through the air as a Pidgeotto or a star, whatever it is, and then crashes in through the window as a Tauros in the Tim. Like, you don't think that's more dramatic than just being picked up by a Machamp?
He got punched by the Machamp.
He got run over by a flying bull.
So, it wasn't a Tauros. It was the other bull Pokemon from a later generation.
Yeah, that's.
I should have this up. But I don't. I should have my Pokemon database site up.
I liked the Torterras, by the way.
Dude!
Like I said, there was the Inception scene. The fact that they did genetic modifications to have a giant Torterra, like giant Torterras, was really cool. But then the reason why it happens is because they're being chased by the Greninjas, and the Greninjas are chased away because of Lucy Psyduck having a migraine, and that migraine causes the Torterras to get up. Like, that's all understandable. It all makes sense in the line of things that's happening. But did it really need to happen? Could we have just walked away with them seeing the normal-sized Torterras and being like, oh, I guess it hasn't kicked in yet? Yes. But it was cool to see.
It was so cool to see. Like, as soon as it started, I'm like, oh. I wish they would have done more with them.
Yeah, like,
I feel like that's the only problem I have with that, is that it was very, they got up, they stood up, and then laid back down.
Yeah, especially because it becomes pretty important what they do, because the rock's falling hits Pikachu, and it's the only Pokemon. Like, the hit was weird for that instance. Like,
I will agree with that as well. It was a weird moment.
Like, we see a giant rock, then we see something kind of hit Pikachu. We can't really tell. Pikachu falls over, and then things kind of settle, and we see Pikachu in pain, and that's about it. And you're like, what's... Okay. And then it leads to Mewtwo being caught again. But, like, it just...
I feel bad for Mewtwo, man. He's trying to live his own existence. Like, he's just trying to do his own thing.
He was
like... alone.
But I also... Mewtwo, if we're trying to continue off of, unless in Mewtwo Returns he becomes mad at humans again.
He still distrusts humans because Giovanni did try to go capture him again.
Mm-hmm.
He understands not all humans are bad.
He says in this movie humans are evil, but not all humans are evil. And it's like,
and that's been his philosophy since the Pokemon first movie, is that not all humans are bad. I understand that. I think humans are pieces of shit. Not all of them.
Mm-hmm. And
he's not entirely wrong, because some of the humans that he's interacted with...
Yeah, the powerful... It's because he's a powerful Pokemon, so evil people want his power. If he wasn't so powerful, he'd have nice people to deal with. It sounds like a Mewtwo problem to me. I'm just kidding.
I mean, it is his problem though, because it's like people keep trying to fucking capture him. It's bullshit. It's like, could you imagine just continuously being like, man, I don't want to fight you guys. I just want to live my own existence. I finally found my purpose. It's working with these clone Pokemon.
Yeah, the ones that I created, so now I have to live with this. I have to take responsibility.
It's my purpose.
Mhm.
Stop fucking with me. Like, come on. It's not that hard. I was nostalgia train all the way through. So.
What did you think of Howard's plan? Like,
I feel bad for Magikarp trainers and Feebas trainers.
Oh, Magikarp. Yeah. And why is it only the one Pokemon? Like,
well, because in Rhyme City, there's not Pokemon. They're not really trainers. They're partners.
yeah, they live together in harmony. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still,
So
like,
it's the one that you have the most emotional attachment to.
but I mean, like, just the thought of this, like Mewtwo, a Pokemon that in his DNA can learn any move. They take his DNA to make a gas. Using that gas, they use it to confuse Pokemon. Because that gas confused Pokemon, they use it on Mewtwo to confuse him. And then they use a cybernetic link to be able to control the confused Mewtwo, using Mewtwo's powers to put minds into Pokemon.
It's because he believes that it's the next step for evolution.
It's just one of those like weird. It's when you boil it down to its simplest form, it's
a
weird
terrible
writing.
plan.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
It's a really dumb, convoluted plan, but it's a supervillain plan.
And he's like, I will be able to turn everyone into Pokemon together. The next step, you either die the hero or watch yourself become the villain.
And he became the villain.
Yeah. Next is his son. Next movie's gonna be about his son becoming evil.
No, please no.
Or Lucy becoming evil because she's been so good at her job as a detective. Her Psyduck evolved into a Golduck, and now they're on a tyrant. They become vigilantes.
The non-spoiler part, but the music was so good.
Oh yeah, the music was great, especially the sad Pikachu music.
Okay, I wasn't referring to that in particular, but I was more referring to the background music that they had playing, the orchestral music they had throughout the film.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause there's honestly only like 2 moments that they call back to Pokemon music.
Yeah.
One is that during the video that the two Clifford film
Mm-hmm.
is I wanna be the very best music playing without the vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ryan Reynolds cry singing.
I wanna be
Very bad.
And then,
you and me.
it was good. Like Ryan Reynolds' voice capture was absolutely great.
Yeah. And some of his jokes were very adult.
Oh yeah.
This was the greatest. This is why it's a good teenage film, because it's good for all audiences.
Yeah, it was one of those lines was like, they pet me, they kiss me, they put a finger in me. It's disgusting. Like, what? Okay.
Not what you'd expect, some of the lines from a PG film. Also, get me the hell out of here!
Oh God. Though I did like how they adapted all the Pokemon into modern day use. That was definitely one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Like the Snorlax falling asleep in the street, and then the Machamp's like directing traffic with all 4 arms.
Yeah,
like...
around him. No problem. They got the Loudron doing their thing. We got Ludicolo doing the coffee making.
Coffee shop. Let it go though.
Yeah. And then, dude, Mr. Mime was my absolute favorite. Because, like, Mr. Mime not only knows that everything is fake and it's happening around him, but he's, like, trying to get Pikachu to understand what's happening while it's happening to him. And he's like, it's gas. It's gas. Yeah, it's gas. It's oh god, I'm covered in gas. Like,
Like, it was fourth wall breaking in the best way.
it's like my
It's
dad.
essentially Mr. Mime is self-aware of how dumb his gimmick is.
It's just that
And I
really
love
got
it.
me. It really, really did. Like my dad got to him, so we have to too, which means we just have to doorknob get in his head. Let's go. Ha! I'm in
Oh,
your
you don't like
space
it, I'm in your
now.
box. I like that though.
All right.
All right. You won't play that way.
Yeah, just down outside. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, it was good. It was funny. It was
I love how bad. Because it's funny. Because by the way, since we're in the spoiler section, Pikachu is really Ryan Reynolds' true character, detective, whatever.
Something.
Goodman. Detective Goodman
Rod-
is actually
no.
Ryan Reynolds.
Tim
Like Ryan Reynolds' soul was put into Pikachu.
Yes. I'm trying to find the actual like name of the Goodman as a Roger
No, that's Clifford.
Clifford. Yeah, Howard Clifford. Tim Goodman. What was the other name then? It doesn't matter.
I don't remember his dad's name.
It's unimportant.
Right now, yeah, it kind of is. But the the fact that his dad is in that body and is supposed to be a really good detective, but in reality, he's not great.
I think
he's smart, but he's bad in certain situations.
Yeah, I definitely think it's more like the personality of the Pikachu is kind of blending in there. I'll be honest, but I agree with you at the same time. It was just, and when the Pikachu was no longer controlled by Ryan Reynolds, I felt I was a little sad, and I was like, oh, I like the talking Pikachu better.
Yeah, I would like. What I wouldn't have minded is it would have been It would have been weird but heartfelt at the same time if that Pikachu gave itself to, like.
Yeah,
to-
like what if it took too long for the body for his dad, so his dad's body couldn't be saved anymore? So the Pikachu's like, yeah, I'll leave my body for the father, and then we'll just know, even though I'm not your father, I am your father. Not your father.
But it was a good film. I enjoyed it.
Was it Harry Goodman?
Might have been.
Either way, yes, good, cute, amazingly fun. I had a lovely time with this movie. I, however, was a little disappointed by the writing. It was a little easy. It was just cool for cool's sake. It was not quite just a Pokemon movie, like an extended Pokemon TV show episode, but it was definitely...
It was
good.
predictable,
Yeah.
which is one of Steven's biggest problems, but it's an understandable one. So,
Do we have anything else we want to say or gush about that we liked in this film?
I think we've gushed enough.
Gushing? I like gushing. Okay, alright.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Go see it.
Absolutely. Like,
And you get a card pack. Like, come on, man. You get a card pack.
yeah, so when it comes to me in films, like, there usually has to be something really cool about it for me to really want you to watch it in films. And, like, in theaters. And, like, I don't think this necessarily has anything that's like, oh, the sound in this moment made the Dolby really cool, or like the bass in this roar, I could feel it in my chest, or anything like that. It's like there was nothing really that's like visually stunning about being on the big screen either. But like, I definitely say watch it if you can.
If you're a Pokemon fan, you need to see it. That's how I say it. Like, if you have anyone to see Pokemon on the big screen, go see it. Support this film because I want to see more of this. I want to see more stories in like a live action Pokemon universe because like one, the Pokemon just looked cool. Like, my God, if I could just get more of that. Like, they looked so fucking cool.
They really did look pretty good. So with that being said and done, we are off into the news.
I have one thing I'd like to talk about.
Ooh. Did you send a link or?
It doesn't really need a link to it because it's just it's box office news.
Ah, okay.
Do you know how much domestically alone Endgame has made?
I do not, off the top of my head.
$723 million.
723 million.
It's almost made $1 billion domestic alone.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. Because everyone is still, like, I still haven't gone to see my second viewing yet, and I think that's kind of blasphemy, but at some point I will here, and then I'll be adding to that huge income that they're making.
It's right now, with plus foreign, so worldwide, it's sitting at 2,485,000,000. It's gonna beat Avatar.
Speaking of Avatar, that's really cool. Did you hear about?
Oh yeah. That's the other big news we should talk about.
Yeah.
He released the schedule for the next.
They have released some things, absolutely. Hang on, my ad blocker's being all fussy.
Yeah, they released their list of films for the upcoming while.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're gonna be happy. There's an actual pause in between the next from Far From Home to the next Marvel film.
A little bit. I'm happy that there will be a pause. It'll give me time to relax.
It's about a year. It's over a year, I think is what it is, which is the longest there's ever been a break. So it's gonna be. Oh no, it's about a year. Because I think the next one's gonna be April next year, April or May.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the. Here it is. All right, here we go. All right. So yeah, they have released that they're doing a Star Wars movie every 2 years, starting from 2020.
Which is a break.
Yep, it is a bit. They have announced that they're reducing to one Marvel movie every year.
Well, no, it's not gonna be one every year. It's 2 next year, but one's gonna be mid-year, one's gonna be late year, and then they're gonna be 3-3.
Okay.
Which is an okay schedule in my opinion, because I think if I remember looking at it, there's one late year, one early year, and one mid-year for the threes. Which gives a little bit more gap.
And then there's always the Avatar movies as well.
I think what they said they're going to do is they're going to flip it from, it's going to be Star Wars, Avatar, Star Wars, Avatar.
Yeah, looking here, it says there's a Star Wars movie comes out in 2022. Then 2023 is Avatar 3. Then Star Wars movie 24, Avatar 4 and 25, Star Wars in 26, and then Avatar 5 and 27.
Yeah. Which, God, those Avatar movies better do well.
Yeah, like, if they're planning 4 in advance, like, what the hell is their thought process going on here? Is it going to be like Alita Battle Angel, where they're trying to set up too much of everything else and they ignore the story that's going on in this film? Like,
they did that in the first one. I'm still not a fan of the first one. It's visually cool, but it's not a good story.
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
Very, very
unobtainium.
Shut up. I won't think about it.
It's the unattainable
it's not a great
element.
Film.
No, it's really not. But it's James Cameron, the bravest pioneer. I love South Park.
I mean, I'm looking forward to their schedule because they're not just releasing films for the sake of releasing films that of the franchises we care about. Mind you, some of the live action ones, they have a lot of live action up there. I'm hoping some of it is original ideas.
Oh, here we go. I found actual release dates for.
Thank you. 'Cause I've been looking through as many links as I can. And it's just really, they're really poorly formatted.
Okay, so for the Avatar series, Avatar 2 is coming out December 17th, 2021. Avatar 3, December 22nd of 23. December 14th for Avatar 4 of 2025, and then Avatar 5th will be December 17th of 27. And then more on the Avatar movies. Oh, wait, where'd the other movies go? Alright, well, there's the Avatar ones. I have to find the other films again. 1 second. Oh. But yeah, at least they have the Avatar dates.
It's. I mean, I look forward to some of the films. I look forward to Marvel films, especially because I'm a Marvel boy.
Of course.
I look forward to the Star Wars trilogy that they're coming out with later, which has a gap in between this, which is needed. Give Star Wars at least a year to cool down. I think it's gonna be like a 2-year gap.
Yeah, it's
From the end of this trilogy to the next. Star Wars is technically gonna be on cooldown with TV series, as it's on Disney Plus, as its only like form of being created, which I'm fine with because it's not another blockbuster.
Yeah. I saw a video or a meme online that really gave me a nice chuckle, and it was you remember in Shrek 2 when they're going to Far Far Away and they're riding in the onion and Donkey's in the back making noises, and Shrek looks back at him and he's like, "Could you stop making noises for 5 minutes?" And like somebody did that with Disney and Star Wars films, because it did Star Wars 2022, 2024, 2026, and it's like, Disney, can you stop making Star Wars movies for 5 minutes? Like, because like I love it. I love Star Wars. I want to see more of it. Absolutely. I just want it to be good and warranted.
I agree. If they tell a unique new story, that's what I'm hoping for.
Mm-hmm. A new trilogy in Star Wars? But this is worrying me, man. Why are we still going with our same dumb IPs? Do you know the joke Final Fantasy 50? I feel like that's going to be some of our movies. Like, there's going to be a 121 Jump Street one of these days. And it's not good. Like, it feels that way now, man. Avatar 5 planned out into 2026.
Okay, but there are certain franchises that can warrant it. I'll counter that. There are certain franchises that you can continue telling unique stories in, without it feeling...
Rambo 20.
That's not one of them.
Ramboiest Rambo
like,
ever rammed.
Marvel and DC, and I'm saying DC because if DC actually pulls their heads out of their asses, they can do it. And they've been doing better. Like, this isn't me, but I'm still gonna rip on them for the past. But if they tell good stories, there's a ton of material for them to adapt. Mm-hmm. There's new stories you can adapt from mixing other stories together. That's something that Marvel has done really well. Most of their storylines aren't directly from the comics. They're
parallel,
similar.
kind of. Yeah, they take
they're
ideas
a retelling. They're a change to it,
mm-hmm.
which is how you do that. Like, you tell a unique story that makes these fans see that these characters are similar, but they have different things happen. Like, it's not just adapting the comic book into a movie. It's not just adapting the book into a movie. It's not just adapting this to that. If you're going to adapt something. Mm-hmm. And I get the idea of wanting original IPs.
I do like original IPs. The only problem is modern day original IPs are stuff like a romance story about this guy who makes a woman fall in love with her within 24 hours before she leaves, or a boy who falls through the ice and then through prayer and Jesus he comes back to life, or about claymation about a stuffed giant wildebeest-like thing that just really wants friends. And it's like these are all original IPs, but they're not selling well at all.
And, well, ones that have, Get Out and Us, have done really well, and they're both original IPs.
Yes.
We talked about it with the Bigfoot movie, the claymation one. We had, like, the week that we watched the films that went out that week, we're like,
Hellboys.
We regretted our decision because, and part of it is we probably wouldn't have as entertaining of a conversation with that week.
No, I agree with you. We would have been like, "Oh, this was cute," but like, what can we say about? Well, the camera stuff was meh, but it's like, yeah, it's claymation. You gotta do so much. Yeah, that'd be our whole conversation.
Wow, with Hellboy, I destroyed it
because it wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad. but it wasn't that good. It was pretty bad.
Dare give that any credit? Take that back right now, you. But I mean, I get the argument. Like, and I understand it. And there are certain things that I am fatigued on. Like, I want Star Wars to be on a break. 2-year break is gonna feel like a long time, especially in the world of movies nowadays.
Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna be okay with that.
I am perfectly fine with that. Like, give me a break with Star Wars. Because there'll be other Star Wars material I can catch up on and watch, like Clone Wars, and I can finally finish Rebels. And they'll have the Mandalorian and a Cassian series with C2 or C25. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Alan Tudyk's character, which I will love because one, Alan Tudyk is amazing, and he was a great droid, and one of the best parts of Rogue One, which Rogue One is actually really good.
I do definitely like Rogue One.
And it was original story to this whole franchise. I want it to be what you want it. So taking a break, figuring out what you want to do with the trilogy, making sure you lay down groundwork, because that was one of the major problems with Last Jedi, was that the groundwork that JJ had written was thrown out the window.
Dude, so since we're kind of just in news and wrap-up stuff, we can kind of talk about whatever we want. Tell me, honestly, what is your end opinion of Kylo Ren, like right now?
I don't know. It's mixed, is the best way to put it, because like he's one of the most interesting characters in this current trilogy.
Absolutely,
without a doubt, if not the most interesting.
I would 100%.
This isn't me discrediting Rey. Rey is a great character in my opinion. She's written really well.
She's fine, yeah.
Her character is very consistent. She's very much the eager want to get to do things. She's the Luke Skywalker. She's the young, I want to explore, I want to do this. Kylo is very much a very conflicted, very unique villain. But the people who are saying that he should get a redemption, I don't want that.
No, Kylo does not deserve a redemption at all.
No.
Kylo is honestly like my favorite villain in Star Wars history, because he's just like, he has a lot of power, stuff that we never see in any other Force people. He asks all the right questions when it comes to these moments. He's cool, he's calculative, and plus Adam Driver as an actor does really well. Like, Adam Driver, I feel, has the best like lightsaber fights ever. He actually seems like he's there rather than just swinging around lightsaber props, you know.
Well, and that's why I can't wait to see whatever fight him and Rey have, because like she does really good too with her choreograph stuff.
Yeah.
And I look forward to their fight, their actual fight, because like, dude, that fight in the Force Awakens, those lightsabers had weight to them, like you felt when they were swung. And that was something that, you know, Funhouse talked about on their movie podcast, was that like in the prequels, they felt light. You know, there wasn't a lot of weight to the fight.
The lightsabers themselves were weightless. They were just light. It's just tap tap tap.
I mean, in Phantom Menace, it was different, but the other ones, it was very much they weren't weighted. While in the original trilogy, you felt that they had that weight, and seeing Force Awakens kind of revitalized that. And I can't wait to see their rematch. It'll be fun, and I will enjoy it.
Like, even like one of my favorite things is just such a simple throwaway line in the last Jedi, which is just like, how are you doing this? The Force alone of this would kill you. And like, he's thinking through the whole process of how this is happening, and she's like, you're a monster. My emotions are gonna make me just yell at you for this whole conversation. And it's like, she's so one-dimensional in these moments when he's just like trying to learn and like use his abilities to manipulate her.
But it also works really well for her character, because she's like, she does not, like, at that time, Han was just killed by Kylo. And she gave him a chance for redemption, and he didn't take it. Do I think his character was very one-dimensional in that moment? Yes. because they just had the most badass fight scene, and then suddenly,
Mm-hmm.
it's like join the dark side. I'm just like, God damn it! What is with you and your grandfather doing the same shit?
It's the dark side. They have cookies. Duh.
I want to see this come to an end, in the right way, and then continue with a different Star Wars story.
Okay,
If this new trilogy is like Old Republic, that'd be so cool.
Like, yeah, I want it to either be something so old that we don't, like, it doesn't matter what happens because we don't really know what's going on, or something in the future where it's like what happened in the events of the Skywalker saga has resonated through the galaxy, and then we get to know what that's done. Like,
I would prefer Old Republic personally,
mm-hmm.
because then there's no Skywalkers.
Yeah, like, I don't want there to be actual Skywalkers at all. Like, I don't want. I just want them to be in the books.
I like the theory that's been floating around is that the Rise of the Skywalker, or Rise of Skywalker,
it's supposed to be like the middle ground now.
Yeah,
it's not the
middle.
Jedi.
Yeah.
It's not a gray Jedi. It's a Skywalker. Walk the line in between light and dark.
Which makes sense given that their family has been the one to walk the line the most.
Mm-hmm.
Luke especially. So it would make sense for a Star Wars story overall too, because like if you remember in Clone Wars, one of the best 3-episode arc is the one where they find the middle, the light, and the dark.
So
Entities of the Force.
So who do you think Rey's parents are?
Doesn't matter.
What if they are Luke's cousins?
Doesn't matter.
I know. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all, in all honesty.
But people will.
It's just.
People will care, Dev. Okay.
I know.
I have nothing else news-wise to talk about. Do you?
I got nothing else.
All right. So I'm just gonna throw up. Oh, why is the poster so tiny? I'm gonna throw up the poster here so we can all take a look at it.
Next week, John Wick trilogy.
Yep, we're watching all 3 John Wicks. Poor dogs, man. We're gonna watch a lot of dogs die.
Yikes.
At least 1, maybe 2. I don't know about the 3rd movie yet.
Dog's in it, so we'll see.
Yeah, they referenced it in the trailer. That was one of the previews I got in my theater for some reason for Pokemon was John Wick. It's like, that's not right at all. That doesn't fit the theme. But it was like, one of the lines was, all this for a dog? He's like, yeah, I know. And then they move on in the trailer. It's like,
well, they just say in the trailer, he's like, it's not just a dog.
oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like, oh, god damn it. Fucking dog stuff still. Oh, well.
I got a dog's purpose is one of my trailers.
Yeah, that was also there. That was also one in there. A dog,
right?
Which, that also seems like a dumb movie when you think about it, because we see like 4 or 5 different dogs coming to this one girl, and it's like, it makes me think that she's an irresponsible pet owner, and no matter what, that dog should stop going to her. That's what that's making me think right now.
Also, happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Oh,
I meant to say that at the beginning.
Today's Mother's Day? Man, we're really good at these holiday stuff, man.
Yeah, I know.
We missed Cinco de Mayo. Today's Mother's Day.
Fucked up Easter.
Yeah. At least we get the major holidays.
No, we didn't.
I know. All right. I haven't got anything else to talk about today. Do you,
I got
Dev?
nothing.
All right. So I think we're done here today, everybody. Oh, I forgot to put the picture on the tweet now that I think about it. Oh, well. Hey, yeah. Today was a good Pokemon day. It was a good Poke Day, you know? Just nice Pokemon movies. Nice reminiscing of our childhood, I guess.
Yep.
Technically. So, if you liked what you saw today with our little, our Critically Casual podcast, you could join us next Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for all 3 John Wick movies here on the show. Yeah, whatever. Give us a like, give us a follow for the Horror Heart channel or YouTube or whatever it is you're on. And watching or listening, you know, that cool stuff. Yeah, Dev is doing the commands. That's cool. On Thursdays, if you want to hear more, on Wednesdays, if you want to hear just more from the Horror Heart channel, we do have 3rd player optional. T-Pop, a video game podcast where we talk about news and gaming, hosted by Gaming Caver and Torn, or Caver J now. I get that mixed up all the time still.
Yep.
It's Caver
And
J.
the
Our podcast on Thursdays.
hosted by myself. Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah. All right. So with that said and done, I guess we're done here for this week. So we will see you guys next week with John Wicks. Oh, hang on. Let me put it back to the scene so they can see you. There we go. Now they can see you. Bye, Dev. Bye, everybody. Capture that Totodile.
I already did.
Oh, okay. Bye, guys.